go. I'm back logged in. Okay, so
I was taking credit for that. Okay. I think all three of us hit the button at the same time.
all right. Okay, I won't take the credit. Okay, so we're in the middle of machlokes whether you're allowed to take the law into your own hands, right? We said according to everybody, if it's going to be a loss for you, you're allowed to take the law into your own hands. It's only if it's not going to be a loss, can you take the law into your own hands or not? All right? Fine. So now the Gemara asks, 4 lines up from the bottom of Zayin or base. Right. So Rabbi Yehuda had said that you can't take the law into your own hands, and Rabbi Nachman said you can. So Masar Rav Kahana ben Bagbag, Oimer, the song of the Dachber, ben Bagbag, Oimer, Al Tikones.
It's a different line.
It's true, but at least part of it.
Okay, fine.
Listen, in Bava Kamma, they're not easy to come by, the songs of the Daf, so we got to take what we get. Right? So ben Bagbag, Oimer, Al Tikones l'chotze chavercha, lita l'shocha shaloi v'reshus. Granted, these are words for a niggin, right? Don't go into your friend's property to take things without permission, right? Not a bad theme for a song, right? So don't go in there to take something unless it's without permission. Shematira love kaganim. You're going to look like a ganim, meaning the guy owes you money. So you say, okay, I'm just going to go into his house and take it. You shouldn't do that. Ella shover shino, break his teeth. The emerloy shali ani naito. You say that I'm taking my own. So you see, everybody's busy in the Haggadah with break his teeth, the Russia Ma'oimer, right? And you say Hake Ashino, right? It seems like everybody there's probably a billion vertelach on that word, on the Hake Ashino. The pashtus is that when you have a complaint against somebody, you pop them in the teeth. That's what you do, right? That's the terminology that's used.
Is it really telling you?
I saw a Sifsei Chachamim on that today.
Yeah.
That he said that the dots over Yishikeyu.
Yeah.
The Sifsei Chachamim says there's no dot over the shin, so he drops the shin and it says Yikaheu. It's the same lashon of Hakeshinov. That's why Esav's teeth fell out when he went to bite him.
Taka. Hey, very interesting. He says that Sifsei Chachamim. Very good. That's a nice one.
Hakeu is the same as Shvor? Means the same thing?
Shvor means to break. I thought Hake also does, no?
I'm saying it means the same thing.
Could be Hake means to weaken. Could be, I don't know, the official translation maybe means to weaken.
To blunt.
Blunt. I hear. But I'm just saying, it seems to revolve around teeth. Like, a guy owes you money. What does teeth have to do with anything? Right?
Well, it could be the same vart. What's the vart over there? He excluded himself, so he's kaifer be'ikr. Here, he obviously has disbelief that the Eibishter wants him to have exactly what he has, so he took something else. Kaifer be'ikr.
I hear. All right. Okay, that's I was also thinking maybe he has gold teeth, and that's how you're getting paid your money. That was more of a yeah. Anyways,
I thought you were going to say something to go with the song theme. In today's Jewish music, this would be the perfect high part. Shvayra Shino.
I'm surprised, Haka, that you wouldn't. Yeah, but anyways, so what do you see from this? That you're allowed to take the law into your own hands, right? Pop them in the teeth.
You can hit someone and cause damage, but you can't go in and take your stuff back.
It's saying that don't go in because then you're going to look like a ganav.
But you're versus actually being a balkas. Okay.
Well, that's why Rashi touches it differently. Rashi says, don't creep in and take it. Let him know you're taking it. Take it by chazaka. Make sure he knows.
You think that's what Rashi meant? Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you should creep in and sneak in.
No, don't creep in. That's what it means.
But still means don't go into his property without permission. He's saying attack him physically or something.
Yeah, I mean, he brings it from the Nachos David here. It's better to confront him openly. Don't sneak around. It's better to confront him openly and tell him you're going to do it.
Right, but it still doesn't mean that you should go into his property.
No, it's just saying just don't do it. Don't do it like Lista.
Right. Well, there's another kasha that Taisu says, and it's pretty obvious. The kasha, right? Pretty obvious, but why can't you just answer that this is talking about where there was a heavy loss, right? That would be the teretz. And you're asking a stira that you're allowed to take the law into your own. Maybe it's talking about where there was a loss. So then you're allowed to take. Everybody agrees you're allowed to take the law into your own hands when there's a loss.
Only a certain kind of loss. Only when Bezdin can't help with that loss.
That's not so clear. That's not so clear. You might get the loss right now. The guy's leaving town, right? So Toysa says it has to be where the loss is not where it's enochonomic. Toysa says that if you would take a loss, then you would go right into the guy's property to take your stuff, right? That's the bottom Toysus. It's a 5-word Toysus, 6-7-word Toysus, right? We said we know ein mavir and ala short Toysus, yeah. So ala shvaris shina. So he says the leka pseida iri. It's talking about where there's no loss. It's also for you to go into the guy's house. It means you're not taking a loss. Mashma, that if you would be taking a loss, go right into the guy's house and take your stuff. Right?
Well, by definition, there is a loss here. He has your stuff. You're losing something.
No, because it's not going away. You'll get it. You'll get it in a couple of days. Right? I think. Right? But anyways, okay, so that's the kasha. So you see you're allowed to take things into your own. And Amalei, on to Aleph now. Imach. So Rashi has a couple of ways. It's like a kasha with you. Meaning, is this really what you're saying? Right? That's one way. Or I don't know if it means it's really what you say, but sort of like, is this the first pshat of Rashi? Is this really, or this is it's like to me, is this really an issue, right? Or it says the answer should be with you. Yeah. So Ben Baga Yichido, Ben Baga was a das yachid, upligi rabbanon aleh, and the rabbanon disagree with him. So Mamela, he's only a das yachid, so therefore it's not. Don't ask kashas from him, right? Which is a real balabat teretz, right?
Especially because there's no rabbanon here. It's unknown. If it was known that there was a rabbanon that disagrees, then Rabbi Yehuda should have asked that on Rav Nachman.
Well, I mean, the assumption is that there's a majority opinion, right?
Why? Because he's there's no other day of brought in any Mishnah of Brisa. Why would I assume? I mean, this is a big assumption to make that there's a rabbanon that argues on this.
Or he's such a das yachid that everyone agrees except for him.
But then it's a brisa. I mean, you have a brisa that says Ben Bagbag says something. There is no machlokes anywhere else in Mishnah or brisa. Why would I say Ben Bagbag is such a day yechida?
Well, I'm saying he is. He is. He's saying he's a das yachid. Okay, we got to go.
You only call someone a das yachid because of pligi rabbanon alei. But there's no this rabbanon doesn't exist.
Well, it's Rabbi Yehuda for sure.
No, Rav Yehuda's an Amira.
Well, whoever he's going with.
No one. There's no one. He has no one to back him up. There's a machlekes of Yehuda and Rav Nachman, 2 Amira, 4th generation.
Yeah, it's still he has to have more people who he's going with. He's telling you that Ben Bagwa was a das yachid. Anyways, okay, right. Rav Yana Yomer, my shvara shina b'din. What he means is don't physically break his din. Bring him to court and make him do a din. Right? That's the case for Amar Loi when it says say to him ve'oimrim Loi. If the guy talk is bringing him to Bezdin, so it shouldn't say va'omer you say to him or he says to him. It say they should say to him, meaning the Bezdin, right? Shali ani noitel. He says that I'm taking my own thing. Shaloihu noitel. It's Bezdin talking. He's saying shaloihu noitel b'ayla. Right? It's a kasha. That's a kasha. That's a kasha. So we deal with the kasha, which we've said many times that kasha means it's not tiyufta. It's a kasha, but it doesn't mean that there aren't answers to it. The Gemara is just not going to pursue them. Right? Fine. So now the Gemara goes through a whole bunch of different rayas. Toshima, shor she'ol al gabi chaver laharga. You have a shor that jumps on top of its friend to kill it. Uba balatachlo in b'shomer deshaloi. And the guy, the owner of the shor, the ox on the bottom, pulls out his ox. B'nofel elyon ames, and then the upper ox falls down and dies. So potter is potter. So my love is an atom of muad with an attacking animal. The animal on the top is a muad the lekap seder, and there's no loss. Meaning there was no loss to the guy. Why? Because when a muad damages another animal, he has to pay full damages. If it would be a tam, then the guy's only going to get half the damages. So therefore there would be a loss to him. And therefore he's taking law into his own hands when there's a loss. But if it's a muad, there would be no loss to him because the guy's going to pay up fully. When it says loy betam the ikapse, there was talking about where the top animal was a tam. So therefore, the guy with the bottom animal is going to take a loss. So therefore, he's allowed to pull out his animal. So what about the seifa? If he pushes off the upper animal, see in the first case, he pulled out his animal. This case, he pushed it off. Right? And he's chayiv. He does aviv tam am I chayiv, and if it's a tam, why is he chayiv? It's a loss. It's an immediate loss for him. Because he had a better way to do it. He could have pulled out his shor, and he didn't. So since he didn't pull out his shor, therefore he is going to be chayiv. Right. So now this is according to this teretz, there's a new wrinkle in this whole din. Right. That's you're allowed to take the law into your own hands, but if you have a way to do it without damaging, then you're going to be liable, right? According to this teretz, that's what the Gemara means. Meaning you can't just go damaging, right? You have to know that there's an easier way. There's an easier way out. If there's an easier way out without doing damage, then you have to take that route, right? Okay, so Tashima, and somebody fills up the chutzner of his friend with jugs of wine and oil. And the Baal Chutzner needs to get in, right? So he just can break barrels on his way in. He can break barrels on his way out, but they're in his way. So you see, you're allowed to take the law into your own hands. The reason why he started breaking the barrels is he says, I got to get out to go to Bezdin to get this guy to stop occupying my yard. Or when he went in, Rashi says, to go get the papers that prove that the property belongs to him. So really, he's not taking the law into his own hands. He just has to be able to get to Bezdin, so then he's allowed to do it. Okay, then another ayah, Toshma minayla nirtza, shekol yom. So a nirtza, meaning a eved who got his ear pierced after the.
If the last Gemara changed pshat in the whole Ikub Seder business, why don't we tell this guy who's going to get papers, who's going to paste him, he has to climb over them? Why do we allow him to break them? Tell him to climb over.
How's he going to climb over?
I don't know. Bring a rock, put it next to it, use it as a step, and climb over it. Why does he have to break it if there's a way out?
Because I'm assuming he didn't have a way to climb over.
It's that hard to find a way to climb.
I don't. Barrels.
I mean, if I'm saying that and my leg doesn't work, I mean, you find a way.
I don't know. I think that's. I don't. Okay, maybe. I just took it as a double push that he didn't have a way to do it, but could be I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not an experienced barrel jumper. right? Fine. So you got a slave who, after 7 years, says he wants to still be a slave. So they bust his ear, and now he stays a slave till Yovel. Yovel, he's out. So Kol Yom means his days are over, and it's Yovel. The rabbi misrav boy lotzes, and his master is trying to get him out the door. He's pushing him out the door. V'chaval, when he's pushing him out the door, he heard him. V'asalep boy chabura, and he made a damage. Shuhu potter. How do you know that the balabayas is potter? Don't take kaifer means from kapara to give back. What do we mean by that? Because that has to do with galus, right? So loisichu kaifer lashav. Don't take kaifer to somebody who comes back. Meaning that even if you, I mean not even, but if you're pushing a guy away, right? So you're allowed, and you're doing it properly. So then you're allowed to, and you're not going to be liable for damaging it. Right? So more answers are my skin on Ba'avda Ganva. The Eved was a Ganav. So therefore, if this guy still stays in his property, he's going to end up stealing from him. So he's allowed to take the law into his own hands because it's going to be a loss. So more asks, I didn't know Loy Ganav, Bahashta Ganav. So till now he wasn't a Ganav. All of a sudden now, right before Yovel, he becomes a Ganav, Bahashta Ganav. So my answer is no, I didn't know have an Rabbi. Till now, he was scared of his master because if he steals, he's not going to have a job. Hashta Leslie aims at the Rabbi, but now he doesn't have fear because he's leaving anyways. And that's why he wants to stay, so he could steal more stuff. It's talking about an Eved who his master gave him a shifta knanis. Tzadid hetera. Till now, he was mutter to live with the shifta knanis. But Ashta Isura, but once he's going to go free, it's Asa. So that's why the boss is pushing him out. And even because he's trying to get him not to do an Avera, because this is talking about an Eved Ivri. Once he goes free, he's no longer allowed to live with the guy, a Shifta Knanis.
We're talking about people go free from jail, but they were there so long they committed crime to go back to jail.
Well, the first terror sounds like that, yeah.
Mm.
But we take a chayshah the yid for that.
I don't know. I had a different kasha. So it comes out that if you're trying to do, is this the proper diak? I didn't research it today. Is the proper diak to be made from this Gemara is that if you're doing something to prevent the guy from doing an Aveira and you injure him, you're potter? Haira, sounds like that from this Gemara. He's only pushing him out because he doesn't want him to, he can't stay married to the Shifcha Knanis, right? So he's pushing him out the door. So, and then he injures him, so he's potter. Echatesi. Right? Well, it's, I don't know. That's, I forgot where, I once texted this out. I got such flack for it that if you know a guy's looking at improper things on his cell phone, or I think even if you know that a guy has an unfiltered cell phone, you're allowed to take it and break it, and you're not liable. Right? So this Gemara may be mashma like that.
Or he could be saying a similar svara to the first teretz. Because he won't have his stress relief, he's going to go crazy. There's going to be a pseudo. So Magmadik a pseudo, he can do whatever he wants.
I hear.
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
Also, the guy can only have a shivcha if he's married. So this guy's married and he's leaving his wife at home. There's something wrong here. He's leaving his wife at home. He wanted a shivcha until now. Now he can't have one. And what? There's a problem. The owner's talking scared something's going to happen.
Yeah, okay, I hear. Okay, right. The Toshma, Menichs a Kabbalah Shusarab. A guy puts a jug or a barrel, whatever, this is our Mishnah, right? And somebody else comes and trips on that barrel, the Shavra, and he breaks it, he's potter. time of the niskova. The reason is, this is a repeat from yesterday's Gemara. Time of the niskova. The reason he's potter is because he tripped on it, right? Hoshavra chay. It's mashma. Again, you put your barrel in the street. A guy comes, trips on the barrel, breaks the barrel. So he's potter because who asked you to put your barrel in the street? But it's mashma that if the guy came and broke the barrel on purpose, he's going to be chayiv. So you see, you're not allowed to take the law into your own hands. So Rav Zud Mishnah the Rava who adin afilu shavra. Now the Mishnah means even if he broke it, he's going to be potter. It only says tripped because I did the kavayla misni seifa. Since the seifa had to say tripped, if that if he got damaged, meaning the guy that tripped over it got damaged, he's chayiv in the nezek. The dafka niskal there, it's only if he tripped. Avashava, but if he broke it, loy, they're not. Who azik nafshe, because he caused himself damage, right? So in the seifa that we had to say the word niskal that he tripped, because if the guy hurt himself when he was breaking the barrel, so then who asked you to break the barrel, right? So Mamela had to say trip. So Ketani Reisha niskal, that's when the Reisha also said niskal. But really in the Reisha, even if the guy breaks the barrel, he's going to be potter. Okay, so then Toshima v'katzoisa es kappa, and you break off her hand, you cut her hand. Right, this is again talking about what we saw yesterday with the woman holding on to the man's private parts. Right, so the punishment when he's fighting with his friend and she comes to help out her husband and she grabs him over there. So it says to cut off her hands, and now it doesn't mean cut off her hands. What it means is money. She has to pay. She has to pay for the embarrassment. Right? And we're not talking about where she's not able, there was no other way for her to save her husband other than to do this, and you see that she's chayiv. So we say, no, she was able to save another way. Mashma, so Gemara says, if she taka was not able to save any other way, and she grabbed this other man in his private parts, she taka would be potter. But when it says in the Sefer V'shilcha Yada Prat l'shliach bezdin, when it says V'shalcha Yada, I'm sorry, it comes to exclude the shliach bezdin, meaning shliach bezdin, he's meant to go do whatever bezdin needs him to do, and he ends up embarrassing somebody. He's potter because he has a special dispensation, right? That he's allowed to do these things. So that's the way the Gemara brings a situation where there's no busha. Why do you have to come on to a different case, right? Like listening to the why don't you just differentiate in the regular case of a medvar, in the meaning that stay with the case of the woman and say that when is the woman chayiv when she's able to save her husband a different way. But if she's not able to save her husband any other way, then she's going to be potter because there's no other way to save her. So meaning, why do you have to go on to a different case, to a different scenario in order to teach that if there's no option, she's potter? So when it says Hachanami Kamma, that's exactly what it says. But when do we say that she's chayiv where she's allowed to, she's able to save him another way? But she's not able to save him any other way. Her hand becomes like a shliach bezdin, and she is potter. So Tashuma, another raya. This actually happened. This is Nageya to my mother's house, because you have Roosevelt Court, right, which is the street behind my mother, and the Olam likes to cut across her yard to go to IFR. Right, saves them a lot of time. Rabbi Kleinkauf and Rabbi Per, right? So once the rabbin starts using your yard, that's it. You can't take it back. So every once in a while, Rabbi Kleinkauf would close the gate just to show the Olam that you can't, it's not public property. We're letting you come through, but that's it. Right? Meaning as you still have some power over it. So here the Brisa says, a guy has, the public uses his field. And then he took it away from them. And then he gave them a different path on the side. Meaning he had one going right through his yard that saved everybody some time. He gave them a different one, but they had to walk around the edge. Masha nasan nasan. So that he really messed himself up because the new path that he gave becomes theirs. And he doesn't even come close to his regular path, meaning he now has two paths going through his yard because he can't shut off his old one, and the new one he donated to the public.
Eminent domain, right?
It's
Effectively.
essentially it's a form of it, right? And if you say that a person can take the law into his own hands, let him sit there with a stick, right? And let him take a stick and sit there and beat anybody that tries to come through his property, right? Because he doesn't want to lose his property. So my answer is, there's a gezerah that they're going to. We're afraid that we're going to allow him to replace his path. He's going to give this how you say a windy road. Who's going to give the tzibur a windy road to go through? It's going to be very inconvenient. That's the first teretz. So therefore, that's why. Meaning, really, he could take the law into his own hands, but we're afraid because he's going to mess the olam up. And it's somewhere where Hitaka did give them a bad way, which is then mashma that if he gave them a decent way, then Hitaka would get back one of his things. It's a big difference between the first teretz and the second teretz. The first teretz is we're afraid that he might give it. So in all cases, we don't let him do this. Second one is that we're talking about specifically where he gave them a bad pathway. Right? Ravashi Omer Kol Min Atzad Derech HaKlasan Hu Kroy V'Lezer U'Choy V'Lezer. Anything you do, anytime you put a path on the side, that's going to be considered like a windy road. Kroy V'Lezer U'Choy V'Lezer. But even though the people that are closer to that side are going to be very happy with the shortcut moved closer to them, right? And the other one, then the other people are going to be unhappy. So some people are going to be happy, some people are not. So somebody's going to get messed up. Therefore, we don't let him do that, right? Okay, so there's no raya. So then why can't he take back his own? Meaning, why does he have to get messed up? So let's say he opened a new path and we say you're not allowed to do that. Okay, so then let him take back that new path at least, right? He could tell the people that cut through his yard, okay, you know what? Take your regular old path and let me at least have this. So my answer is you can't do that either. Once you have a path that the rabbim uses, then you're stuck. You can never stop the rabbim from it at all, right? And here, the guy obviously gave it to the rabbim because he's the one that donated it, right? Last raya, Toshima, so we know that you have to leave a corner of your field open. That you can't do any harvesting because that corner has to go to the poor people. So you left one corner, and the aniyim said, you know what, we don't want to schlep all the way across this field, so we're going to take it from the other side. Zev is a peya, then they're both peya, meaning what he made peya and what the aniyim took for themselves peya. Now, why is that right? Right? I'm sorry, and if you say a person can take the law into his own hand, why are they both peya? Let him take a stick and lace it and sit there, right? Why does he have to let them take his pay? Meaning the pay that he specified, he can't go back on because he made that pay, right? Good. So then go to the other pay and say, hey guys, I gave you pay. It's on the other side of the field, but he can't do that. So Marava Maizev is a pay. Rava is saying, yeah, you could do that, but what we're saying is that it's considered pay. And he doesn't have to give ma'aser. So actually, my mamash did a 180. In the first pshat, the Gemara, he's losing out 2 corners of the field. To Aniyim. Now the Gemara is saying, no, 1 corner he can keep. And not only that, he doesn't have to give ma'aser. Because once it became hefker, then you don't have to give ma'aser on. Kedetanya, Hamafkir as karmoi. So if somebody makes his vineyard hefker, v'hishkim b'boiker u'patzu, and then in the morning he gets up, he's kind of back his field, and then he starts harvesting it. Chayev b'peret u'ba'oilulus u'b'shikra u'b'peya. He's chayev to give all the matnas na'im. Meaning, normally if a field is hefker, there's no matnas na'im. So this guy decided he's going to pull a shtick, and he's going to be mafker his field at night, and then he's going to be rekinded in the morning. So that shtick does not work, and he still has to give matnas na'im. However, he is potter min ha'maiser. That he is. He's potter min ha'maiser. Right? Because the pasuk doesn't repeat itself. So therefore, since the pasuk doesn't repeat itself, so he taka will gain by being potter from ma'aser. So too here. Once one corner of his field was potter from peya, so then it stays as even though it becomes chayiv and peya again when he says, "I left you another corner of the field," but ma'aser becomes potter from it. Okay, next Mishnah. I still have to look through for the Three Stooges to be. I think there must be some episodes where these situations come up, right? Or other slapstick. But anyways, till then we'll have to try and describe it. Okay, so Nishbar Akadim Rishus Harabim. A guy's jug broken Rishus Harabim, but Huchluk Echad B'mayim. And a guy comes along and slips on the water. Or he gets hurt by the earthenware, right? By the pieces of the broken thing. Chayiv, so the person whose pot got broken is chayiv. Right? Again, a guy's pot broke, water spilled, and somebody came and got damaged with it, the person's chayiv. If he did it on purpose, then he's chayiv. If he didn't have kavanah, then he is potter. When we're talking about damage with the water, we're talking about where his clothing, kalim can mean clothing also, where his clothing got damaged by the water. But he himself, if he himself physically gets damaged, potter, he's potter. Why? Because what damaged him? Karka oilam is ikasa. The ground was
meaning he slips on the water and breaks his arm. He does his potter?
Correct. Why? Because what broke the arm?
The water.
What? No. Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Right now, the Gemara is saying the water did not break his arm. The water made him slip. Right? The ground is what made him break his arm. That's a grama. That's the way Rashi says it. Right?
That's like someone walking, going like this to their brother, and they're just swinging fists. But don't run into me, or you're make me punch you.
Well, that's what we said. That's what we said earlier in the week. Your hand is in my way.
Yeah.
Why did your arm have to hit the ground? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, listen, that's fate.
You should have tuck and roll.
But anyways, that's hard to understand. But Lamais, he slipped on the water and he broke his arm. Right? So Mamela, it's the karka that damaged him. Okay, that's the way the first sheet that wants to say it. When he said this over Shmuel, Amarli, I'm sorry, he said to me, when I said this over Shmuel, he said to me, if somebody's rock or knife or load damages in the Rishus Harabim, it's considered like a bar. We know that it's a shar, but not, it goes a shar and not a person, and a chamar and not kalim. Meaning a bar that can damage a shar, and a bar can damage a chamar, but not a person and not kalim. I mean, it could damage, but they're not going to be chayiv. But that's only for death. But for damage, adam chayiv the kalim peturim. A person is going to be chayiv, and kalim are going to be patur. So what do you see? He's saying that this thing has a din of bar, right? So he's saying that the kalim you're going to be potter on, and the adam you should be chayiv, which is exactly the opposite of what we just said. Right? We were saying that the kalim, because they got dirty from the water, that is chayiv on, but the adam is going to be potter on. And Shmuel saying, 1 second, these things have a status of bar. Bar for damages, there's no damage for kalim, there's no payment for kalim. There is payment for humans, right? So he disagrees. He says the total opposite. For Rav, what's Rav going to do with this? It's only a bar when you make it hefker. If you don't make a bar hefker, that's considered your money, right? And then mamaynai means it has the din of a shar, right? And a shar is going to be chayiv on kalim and on other. So basically, we have a yisaytis between Rav and Shmuel. With something, if something gets damaged by something that's a Rishus HaRabim, it's going to depend, not going to depend, right? Rav says that the kalim are going to be chayiv on, the person's going to be potter because it's a grama, and Shmuel says the opposite, that the adam's going to be chayiv because it's a bar, and the kalim are going to be potter because it's a bar, and a bar doesn't have kalim. So Mazir Rav Aishia, it doesn't have a chiyah for kalim. So Mazir Rav Aishia, the nafal shama shar chamar. It says in the pasuk, and a shar or chamar fell into a bar. Shar v'lay adam, chamar v'lay kalim. It means a shar and not a person, chamar and not kalim. Right? Mikan amru. From here we say nafal l'saych shar v'kalim v'nishtavu. If a shar and some utensils fall into a bar, chamar v'kalim v'niskaru, or a chamar and it's kalim and it got torn, chayav ala behema upater ala kalim. He's chayav on the behema, pater on the kalim. Olamazet dami. What does this compare to? La'avnoi usakinoi umasoi shenichu shenim which is Rav is similar to putting your rock or knife or load in Rishus HaRabim and it damages. Right? So the Gemara didn't finish with its kashi yet. So the Gemara says Adarabah. It shouldn't say it should say what's compared to this, because we're learning it out from bar. Not this is similar to Avnei Sakina Masai. Avnei and Sakina Masai are learned out from bar. Elamai doime lezeh. It means so you taka say it. What's similar to this? Avnei Sakina Masai shani which is Ram Bezikra. Right? Lefika imetiach tzalchisa be'even chayiv. And therefore, if somebody has a bottle and it gets rubbed against the stone, chayiv, it is chayiv. Right? So, what's the kasha? Reisha kasha l'Rav, the sefer kasha l'Shmuel. The Reisha is a kasha to Rav because it says that a bar is potter on kalim and chayiv on adam. And Rav just said that the water or the barrel that's in Rishus HaRabim is the opposite. And Seifa of Kasha l'Shmuel, the Seifa is a Kasha on Shmuel because the Seifa says that if you rub up against a bottle up against the stone, then you're chayiv. According to Shmuel, why should you be chayiv? That's kalim. So the Gemara says, and according to you, tikshilach hi gufa. Why don't you have the kasha in the brisa itself, right? Kasha reisha potter v'seifa chayiv. You have a kasha because the reisha is potter and the seifa is chayiv, right? Meaning we're talking about bar here. So if you're potter on kalim, so then in the seifa you should also be potter. And if you're chayiv on kalim, then in the reisha you should be chayiv. Rav is going to have a way to explain the brisa, and Shmuel is going to have his way to explain the brisa. When are we saying that it has a din of bar? That's when you made it hefker. But if you didn't make it hefker, then you're going to be chayiv because it's not a bar, right? If he didn't make it hefker, and if you rub your bottle against the stone, you're going to be chayiv because didn't have a din bar because it wasn't hefker. That's the way Rav is going to explain it. Shmuel, now that we say that the stone and the knife and the load is like a bar, according to Rabbi Yehuda, who disagrees with us and holds that you are chayiv for kelim and a bar, therefore, if if he puts his bottle against the stone, then he is chayiv. Hold on one second. Hello. Okay, 3 times already, so I'm answering. Okay, bye. Sorry. So chayiv. So basically, the way Shmuel is going to explain it is that he's the end of the mission. It says chayiv is going according to Rabbi Yehuda. Fine. Amar Rabbi Lazar lo shanu. So Rabbi Lazar says lo shanu ela sheniska be'evan b'nashuf be'evan. We're talking about where he tripped on a stone and it got broken with the stone, right? Meaning the stone did all the damage. He tripped on the stone. Maybe it was a large stone. I don't know exactly how it happened, but he tripped on the stone, and then his thing got damaged by the stone. Aval niska bekarka, b'nashuf be'evan. But let's say the guy tripped in the ground, and it damaged from the stone. Then he's potter, right? Because it's a grama. Command the like Rav Nosson, that's not like Rav Nosson, who we had a bunch of blot ago, and it's really a sugi later. Rav Nosson holds that if one shar pushes another shar into a bar, right? So if you try and collect your money from the shar that pushed in the other shar, but if you can't collect from him, then you're going to collect from the bar. So they're both on the hook. So here we're saying that it's not going to be like that. If there's the ground makes a guy trip, and then he trips into the rock, they both are not going to be chai. Igadam, read the opposite. It goes without saying that if you tripped on a stone and the stone broke your kli, that's chayiv. But if he tripped on the ground and he broke it with the stone, then he's potter. Meaning that goes without saying. Even if he tripped on the karka and it rubbed against the stone, he's going to be chayiv. Kiman Rav Nosson, then it's like Rav Nosson. Meaning, if there even this version is that if there's 2 people involved, then you'll still be able to collect. Right? Okay. So that's that sugya of how to learn whether something in Rishus Harabim that falls, is that considered a bar or not, and depending on how if it was hefker or not, so that's going to depend on your punishment, at least according to Rav. Shmuel holds it's a standard bar, right? Fine. We'll do a few more lines, yeah, because it's Friday tomorrow. Rabbi Yehuda says if you have kavana, then you're chayiv. What's that mean? If you have kavana to damage with the thing, right? With the bucket that broke, or the barrel that broke. So Amarabba, what it means is he had kavana. He's in Rishus Harabim, and he had kavana to take this thing off his shoulder, right? And then what happened is that he tripped, or something happened, and the barrel broke. So that meaning his kavana wasn't to do damage. That's pashut, right? His kavana was to take this thing off his shoulder, and then it ended up smashing.
So it would be different if he didn't try to take it off his shoulder and it fell off his shoulder?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see the Gemara Baita. Yeah. So Amalei Abaye Mechlal. So again, Rabbi Yehuda is the makel in the Mishnah, right? Because the first shita, which we're going to say now is Rameir, just says that the guy's chayiv. Are you saying that Rameir would hold that nifshara means literally it melts, like paishrim, like warm or whatever it is? Right? So are you saying that Rameir would say that even if there's a total inus, he's holding this barrel on his shoulder, and there's a total inus, and somehow it goes off his shoulder, Rameir be chayiv? So Amarlei in, he said yes. I'm sorry, Amarlei, he said to him, in mechayiv haYirameir, afilu aznei b'yadai. Even if the only thing left that the guy's holding is the ear, literally means the ear, meaning the handle of the pot in his hand, and something happened that this thing disintegrated off his shoulder, he's still going to be liable. So the Rameir is holding very, very, very much l'chumra. See, Rabbi Yehuda is saying, if you meant to put down the barrel, so your kavanah was to put down a barrel in the public property, and something happened, so then you'd be chayiv. But mashma, that if you didn't plan on putting it down and something happened that it came off your shoulder, you wouldn't be chayiv. Rameir would hold that no, if even some freak thing, you're still going to be chayiv. So we're asked, Amai, why? Why should he be chayiv according to Rameir? Honestly, he's an einis, v'einis rachmana patre, and the Torah patters you from einis. T'chsiv u'lenaira l'sasa davar. Right? It says to a naira who was raped, you don't do anything to her, even though it's arayis and this chorus. But since she was forced, you don't do anything to her. So same thing here. This thing fell off his shoulder. It didn't have anything to do with him, right? It was a total einus. So why is he chayiv? Well, maybe you're only potter if there's a chiyuv misa, right? Avalin nizakin chayiv, but for damage, you'd be chayiv for einzim. The Gemara answers and says, Tanya, you can't say that because nishbar kada v'loy salkoi. We have to remember this price of it tomorrow. A guy's bucket, or I keep saying bucket, but it means his barrel broke, and he didn't take it away from the Rosh Hashanah. Nafal Gamalei, or his camel fell down. And he didn't pick up the camel. Right? So basically, he was an einis, and he didn't fix it. So Rameir Mechayev Ezekah, Rameir is chayev in the damage. For Chachamim Ayrim, and the Chachamim say on top of Aleph now. Potter midinei adam v'chayev midinei shemayim. He's potter in human laws, but midinei shemayim he's chayev, meaning he's potter. Okay, we'll see by to what. But the chachamim mighty the rameir ba'avnei sakino masai, by the stone and his knife and his load shenichem b'rosh hagago, that was the guy put it under his roof. V'naflu baruch mitzuya, and it fell in a common wind. V'zika shu chayev, that he is chayev, because why are you going to put up something on your roof that could possibly fall off or fly off in a common wind, even though he didn't want the stuff to fall off, but it's almost like you're irresponsible.
Seems like they did a lot more things on their roof than we do.
Yes, they use their roofs a lot, it seems. Yeah, 100%. They also had flat roofs, I think.
So maybe it's not so crazy that someone's putting this on.
Right, but if it's a ruach mitsuya that blows it off, then a person should have known. Maybe David Taka Bezmana said that we don't use our roofs. So how are we supposed to know what's going to blow it off, what's not going to blow it off?
It's like the roofs in the city where they have rooftop parties.
Yeah, right. It's flat. Yeah,
they're functional.
So that in that case, the Chachamim reminded to Rameir that the guy's negligent, because if it fell off in a ruach mitzuya, you were not responsible. I mean, you are responsible, but you weren't. That was bad words. You were. Yeah, what was the word I just used? Irresponsible. Yeah. And the other way, Rameir's Maidu Rabbanan, but Maila Kankanin alagav, if a person puts Kankanin, who means nicer Kankanin, right? Another song of the no, not exactly. He put whatever it is, Kankanim on your roof, Amanas Lenagvan, that they should dry up, but Naflu Baruch She'ena Batsuya, and if they fell off in a Ruach She'ena Batsuya, Bezikon the damage, who potter. That he's potter, because how is he supposed to know? Right? So Rameir's Maida in a full out Einus, Rameir, you see, is Maida, because the guy put these jugs on his roof to dry, and a Ruach She'ena Matsuya came, he's a total Einus, and you see the Rameir says potter. Right? So the Memela, that is the Gemara, again, the Gemara wanted to say Akasha that maybe Rameir holds that you're chayiv in Einsim for damage, meaning even if you're a total Einus, you see from this Brisa that Rameir holds that if you have something on the roof and a Ruach She'ena Matsuya comes and it falls off, Rameir holds you potter. So you see, he does hold the Einsim. Let's just do the teretz and then we'll stop. Ela Amar Abaya, the Tarti Pligi. Abaya says there's actually two machloiksim going on here. Pligi b'shas nefila, or pligi la'achar nefila. There's two sets of damaging going in it. Let's say the guy trips and he damages while he's falling. That's one machlokes. Or pligi la'achar nefila, and then if it fell and now he doesn't fix it up, it's also machlokes. Pligi b'shas nefila. What does it mean? B'niskal pesheya. If somebody tripped, is he a pesheya? Right, that's the first machlokes. Marsav or niskal pesheya, or Rameir holds that if somebody trips, he's a pesheya. You know, like if somebody trips and the kid, stop being so clumsy, right? And the kids, what should I do? I tripped, right? So the Tanakama, meaning Rameir, holds, yeah, you're liable. You shouldn't have tripped. Don't be clumsy. Umar Savar Nisko La pesheya. He tripped. What I mean, he's a human. He tripped. So why should he be chayiv? Because he damaged while he tripped. Pligi lachar nefila, and they also had a machlekes after it fell. The mafkir nizakav, somewhere where he fell. This one is very hard to understand, at least for me. The stuff fell down. Now it's sitting in Rosh Hashanah, and the guy says, "You know what? I'm not going to clean it up. I'll make it hefker." And now I'm out, right? Mar Savar mafkir nizakav chayiv. Tanakama holds, yeah, you're not getting away with it. Your stuff fell. You broke it. It's in Rosh Hashanah. You can't make it hefker. I mean, you can make it hefker, but you're still responsible. Umar Savar potter, and the other one holds that you are potter. You could make it. You could make it hefker, and then you're potter, right? Okay, we'll stop over here. All right, so until